Tino, Mante Petru Skait, and Marwan Aururi and Lin Van Tor. And last but not least, my dear colleague Serdar Yücel. I'm happy to give you a short overview of what you can expect during next approximately 90 minutes on our digital event. First, we will have Serdar Yücel, Director of Academy and Mobility Alliance, to introduce core features of EU Tech. Then I will introduce our panelists today that will share their valuable experience in successful and failure in implementing digital transformation before we are answering questions from you, from the audience. So just let me to let you know, you can submit your question to the chat function during the webinar, and maybe you will get the answer right away, or we will wait by the end of the webinar to get your answer. Now I will hand over to Serdar Yücel, Academy and Mobility Alliance Director, to give us a short overview about EU Tech Chamber. Serdar, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Ned, and welcome all to this great digital transformation webinar with the great keynote and panelists. And here is, we are EU Tech Chamber, established in 2015. We are an NGO not-for-profit organization with our headquarters in Munich, Germany, and a very big office in Switzerland, with our core main value proposition of exposure, which means networking, and a very powerful virtual tech platform that we are now having our webinar on it, as well internationalization. And our mission is to be the leading technology network in the world. And our vision is technology obliges, which is our copyright. And about our major goals for our members, we call advocates, to make you more competitive, more sustainable in terms of UN SDGs, and grow. And how we do it in terms of our services that we provide to all our advocates for free under the value proposition toolbox of services in two groups of services: knowledge and networking. Knowledge is the very base for networking, and that's why we have publications including white paper, position paper, and a very popular online and also distributed in printed version, Visions for Europe magazine. Our members, advocates, can also contribute. We encourage to make you more visible because we publish your name, brand, and picture. As well, we arrange more than 200-300 events in a year in all our alliances. We call our sections as alliances in a year, like this one. Sorry. And as well, we have bi-weekly networking meetings under every alliance. You can also join, and you are welcome. And under the virtual tech platform, you can match with others, other advocates, or other participants at the events. It's your virtual booth, and we also arrange trade fairs, expos, and exhibitions on that virtual booth. In addition, we have online and on-site technology summits every year. The next one will happen this autumn. We will launch our position paper before the decision and policy makers, including EC Parliament members. And you can also join us if you become our advocate. And hopefully soon after COVID is over, we will restart our business delegation trips to international markets. In addition to the services that we provide our advocates, we have several different programs like social media program. We create your video and post your messages on social media. And digital transformation program is under Digital Transformation Alliance. And we have a physical technology center in China. And soon we will set up a new one in Middle East. And we have also trade fair program. An investment forum happens once in a year to engage our advocates with global investors. And we reward those technology companies who are very good at SDGs at an event and provide SDG awards. Climate Action Partnership is a program that we calculate carbon footprint tracking of our members for the net zero goal, and Master Cities are corporate social responsibility program. We plant trees, build schools or hospitals in those areas who are in need, like Africa. And when we come to the alliances, in 3 different group of sections, we call our alliance, including regional alliances from LATAM to China, and the thematic horizontal alliances, impact alliances, including academia and others. And in all technology areas, we have alliances like digital transformation and also some others. Soon we will set up our food and health alliance too. And upcoming summits, expos, and awards are here. You can check. In June, we will have LATAM 1, and in EU-China Economy and Tech Expo will happen in September. And Future Technology Global Summit will include digital transformation, IoT, manufacturing, mobility, and smart city parts. It will happen in October, and you're all welcome. And the last one in November will be EU Tech Investment Award event. You are all welcome to register. You can find on our homepage, and also you can find all the virtual events to register for more than 300 to 300 webinars in a year, and including you can be part of thousands of registrants, and there are many key decision and policy making people who are our keynotes. You will be so. You are so welcome to join. And here you see our tech.forum homepage. You will see all the homepage of different alliances. And here are some screenshots from our virtual tech platform that you will see on our expos when you join us. And we engage you with the industry and all other technology areas to inspire your industry. Thank you very much. Wishing you a great webinar, and back to you, Nat. Thank you.
Thank you, Serdar. Thank you so much for a great EU Tech Chamber presentation. Again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today in our digital event that we are very confident it will be very interesting for all of you to have better understanding of such a great topic, which is digital transformation, implementation, success, and failure story. We have 4 panelists today, all experts or people that they are actually implementing digital transformation in real world. So it's great pleasure to honor to introduce our panelists today. Only lady today with us, Mante Petruskaite. She has been in the tech industry for around 10 years now. For at least 2 years, Mante have been with Ionate, doing sale and client engagement management, which means looking after ongoing digital transformation projects with international banks, insurance companies, etc. Ionate is a rather small but global company based out of San Francisco, but operates globally, that employs automatization, ML, AI in order to modernize legacy framework, COBOL, TIC clients like a Visual Basic, or maybe monolith applications on Web 2.0 or 1.0. As a result of Ionate modernization, companies become cloud ready with new architecture that is based on microservices. The end result is modern ecosystem with 100% business parity, preserving all data, business logics, and processes. Anastasios Papakonstantinou is a technology innovation global leader with 20 years hands-on experience on software development, building 100+ people teams, developing customer relationship, growing YOY revenues, and infrastructure. Currently, TAS is a vice president of business development and digital. However, this is a director of operation and CTO in 2 startups, and lead business development from Crossover, which revolutionized the remote work. He is rooted in Europe, USA, and India markets for Fortune 1000 companies and startups. And finally, he's also mentor at Google and USA accelerators and avid marathon runner. Congratulations. Lee Van Tor, digital transformation practice lead at Avenue Code, many years as a project manager and transformed to agility way of work in 2006. Since then, he mainly did medium and large agile projects In 2017, Lean dedicated his professional life to agile consultancy and training. After coaching and training of many individuals, teams, and units in many different organizations, his focus shifted to digital transformation. Lean is an analytical listener, can identify complex problems quickly, in creative and finding solutions, has an innovation mindset, which is needed for guiding organizations in their digital transformation journey. And last but not least, Mauran Auri is Digital Transformation Director with a global experience in leading technology multinational delivering strategic program of large organization plus 5,000 employees in both private and public sectors in Canada and Gulf. He's experienced in a variety of industries such as healthcare, pharmaceuticals, airlines, government, utility, energy, retail, education, and marketing. He's satisfied in artificial intelligence, blockchain, healthcare, interoperability, IoT, and more. His architecture knowledge and experience in both mainstream and emerging technology has empowered him to deliver key enabling solutions like ER Smart Offering, United Arab Emirates National Blockchain, Smart Government Services, Mobility Strategy, Big Data Solutions, Cloud Enablement, and so on. He's passionate about emotional intelligence and workforce digital upskill. He's a strong advocate of the power of the mind and workforce empowerment in digital economy. So again, I would like to remind our audience that you are able to submit your questions through the chat functions before we start Q&A session. I am excited to deep dive into the points of our panel discussion. So it's going to be actually 70 minutes from now on of presenting case studies, examples, and each panelist will have approximately 17 minutes. As stated before, our goal to presentation is to make at least one successful and one failure story of digital transformation implementation. Our order of panelists today is, of course, ladies first. It's Mante, Taz, Mauran, and Lean. So please, Mante, if you manage to Taz, did you manage to get the presentation from? Because I cannot open presentation from Mante. I'm sorry.
Right, me too. If you can give me like 2 seconds, maybe I'll be able to open it. It's on. It's in a key format. Just give me 2 seconds, Mante, if you can begin.
Sure. Taz, I will put you as presenter. So please, if you have questions, and also note to our panelists, while waiting for your turn to present, please look the public chat, and if you are able to answer the question from the audience, it will be very appreciated. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just need 2 more minutes, guys. Sorry about that. I need to convert it to PPT from Key.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I can start without slides because the.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. So, welcome everyone. I've posted on a public chat, and I encourage everyone to contribute to this webinar and ask as many questions as you like. I'll do a short intro of IONIT as a company so that you're aware of what we do, because digital transformation in its essence is such a large and broad topic. So, and Ionate does one specific task, which is legacy transformation. So we take any legacy code that a company might have and we transform it into something that is up to date, which is not a very simple task. And we see that it is possible, but of course we do face challenges. So Ionate, can we go to the next slide? As Ned mentioned, we are based out of San Francisco. The quarters are in San Francisco. And however, we have a global presence over the world, and our customers are normally also scattered or with the departments all over the globe. Can we go through the slides? I'm not sure who's responsible for this.
Actually, I am.
Okay, can we skip to the next one?
All right.
Thank you. Yeah, but it hasn't changed for me. Is it just me or is it everyone? I'm still on a title slide.
I'm now showing, the slide with the problem.
No.
No?
This is not what we see.
Yeah, we still see front page.
Now I can see it.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Problem.
you. Thank you, Anastasios. Yes. So definitely the problem is that it's not so easy to move from something that is very old to something that is very new. It's not only the technological issues, we also have, or we also see that it's hard for people to accept that maybe, you're moving from COBOL to Java, and the experts of COBOL feel, a little bit afraid. However, we try to make them the champions of this transformation project. And also the problem is that this transformation is not as a very quick process as well. So we try to do it as quickly as possible. Can we go to the next slide? I really want to get, quicker to the slide where we talk about the customer and then we talk about the challenges and successes as well. Anastasios, can we move to the next one?
Traditional programming, repertoire, value ecosystem.
And everybody who's listening, please feel free to pop any questions in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on it, and I'll try to answer the questions that you might have. Anastasios, it's still on the problem.
Okay.
For some reason, I think there's a lag. So the traditional approach of our competition would be to put a lot of people and normally try to reprogram, rewrite, re-architecture, and all of that. However, Ionate, what we do, we try to build a model using the AI and train the model rather than train people. So we train the model to understand what is in the source code and how we can get to that new architecture. And that's what we improve. So constantly we work on the model that is improved during the process. Yes, but the slide is still not correct, Anastasios.
Okay.
Okay, and the next slide. Thank you very much.
Should we go to the next one?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm now showing the repertoire.
Perfect. So we can convert Oracle forms, we can convert COBOL, whether it's almost any legacy application, because it is the tool that we're training. So we're training the tool to understand all of these languages and to give us the result that the customer actually wants. Let's go one slide further. We do work with partners because eventually the customer can go to the cloud. So we work with cloud providers, Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google, Oracle, whatever that is. We also sometimes take help from system integrators, because the process itself is not a super easy one. So we do work with Accenture and other companies and Entity Data and Tivit, our great partners. And the slide that I want to stop on is the customer spotlight. So here I want to elaborate a little bit more. One of our success stories is EXL. EXL is an insurance software company, and we are helping them to get rid of COBOL and move to Java completely. It hasn't been an easy project or super quick. It's, you know, it is done step by step. So the way we move is, first of all, we try and discover what is underneath the hood. So we have to understand what are the patterns within COBOL, what are the relationships between, you know, separate kind of pieces of code. We do come up with the ideal architecture together with the customer. And we've done this with EXL quite successfully. Then what we do, we built the model, as I mentioned before. So human come up with a model and we train AI. So we do try to see what are the dependencies, how they are related, are there any dependencies, or maybe there are complex dependencies in between those processes that we see under the hood. And only then we go and we train the model. The way we train it is we feed with some source code, and then we get the transformed results. We go into testing, and then it's the execution stage where we go little bit by little bit, expanding the scope. And so we have to validate that the model is actually working. We have to analyze, and we have to train it further on. Once this is done, after the testing, after the validation, then we go into deployment. So with EXL, we have been really successful in going through all these stages, and still we had set challenges. So I think I've covered a little bit of the successes. Now, talking about the same customer, I would like to talk about the challenges. So the challenges are that, number one, it is still a complicated process, and many people have to be involved. And as we spoke with Ned even before this webinar, normally the challenges are not necessarily technical. They are very much people related, and the communication in between different departments, in between different countries, in between different stages, and some different people have to be involved in various stages. That has been probably the main challenge that we have seen. Nonetheless, I believe that with EXL, we have been successfully overcoming it. I see a question in the public chat. Do we simply redesign the old code? No, it's more than that. It's you have to come up with your ideal infrastructure that you want to move forward with, and then you kind of bring it forward. Maybe some other panelists want to ask me a question. UX and UI is definitely another challenge that we have to tackle. It's a very good question, though. So we come up with the kind of initial UI, and then we go into testing. So in general, the process is pretty much the same. So you go into testing, you get the feedback, you improve it, and it goes like a circle. Anybody else have some questions?
Any luck with the next slide? there's another question, Mante.
Yes, I can see it's about the duration of the project. That the problem might not be solved if the people take 3-5 years to change. So, like, okay, so Ionate is a very good fit for large corporations, large projects, meaning that even to train the model, it takes time, right? So if it is a small project, probably you can simply rewrite it, as Olaf said. You can kind of maybe redesign, rewrite it, maybe hire many software developers and do it this way. With Ionate, what you do, you train the model, and then what it can do at a super large scale, then the efficiency is coming, then you can see it, right? So Tilman Kloppet, that's a very good question. Ionate solution works with super large projects. That what kind of is the benefit of Ionate. Otherwise, definitely, you can probably rewrite a piece of code, if it's a small one. Do people have resistance? New tools, of course. But it's in everyday life, right? Whether you have to move to a new social platform, or use something new, or use new headphones or something like that. There's always a state of like, something is not working, something is not good enough. But we try and involve as many people as possible in the project, so that they do understand what's going to be the end result. And the end result is a pure Java or Angular or React, if it's a front end code. So it's pretty kind of straightforward. And once they do understand it, once they see what the result is going to be, then it's much easier. Normally, in the midst of a project, people start to lean to another stage, and they kind of want to contribute and be the pioneers of that new piece of code that they're gonna end up with. But at the beginning, definitely, there's quite a lot of resilience. But no, we don't have any change management specialists. Normally, our system integrators, because they're large in their essence, so they would take care of that if we need that. Anastasia, maybe you want to ask a question.
Well, I mean, your company size is taking on, for instance, one client is pretty much becoming like a consultant, if you will. Are you also, doing some business process outsourcing, business process re-engineering as well?
So definitely, we're not a consulting company. We are a technology company. And that's why we work together with our system integrators like Accenture, Crayon, or Tivit, or Entity Data, or Image Makers, or Stefanini. That they have all the set that is needed for large-scale projects. We are the technology company, so we provide that kind of key to the app modernization. But then there are multiple other processes that are involved. So we kind of, how do I say that? We delegate. We take the help of our system integrators, our partners.
Mante, maybe a question about the technology. You say especially focused on COBOL and the old legacy or mainframe applications. Is there also a possibility to migrate from .NET to Java? Say you are totally fed up with Microsoft, you want to do that, maybe. Is that also supported?
Yeah? You can, yes. If we go a couple of slides up, you'll definitely see that.
Okay, great.
Mante, just
almost anything. Yes, Ned.
A very simple question. If we defined digital transformation on 3 main pillars: technology, processes, and people, and by your experience and Ionate experience, what's the biggest issue? What's the biggest obstacle?
the people, always. But don't get me wrong, it's not like people have to understand that they need to change the technology. People have to understand that the processes have to change. So I think that, out of all those pillars, people pillar is the most important because they make the decision, right? The technology cannot make the decision for the people, right? But people are on top of it. So always it's people, and once people are willing, they are engaged into this process, that's fine.
Thank you, Mante. Thank you so much. If there's no other questions, I would like to move to Tas. Tas, would
Thank
you
you
like
very
to,
much for having me.
Yeah. Would you like to upload your presentation?
Absolutely. Just give me just 1 second.
Thank you so much.
Hope I helped. All right, let me just share my screen real quick.
There we go. Thank you. The microphone is yours.
All right, so are you able to see the entire presentation? Yeah?
Yes.
All
Just
right.
a quick reminder to our audience, you can make it full screen. There's a little cross on like an X on the right upper right hand side. If you click on it, it will be full screen for you. Thank you.
Right, absolutely. So thanks very much for that. So I am Taz. Let me just get to a quick introduction about myself. 20 years experience on software development across the board. Built various teams, small agile teams and larger ones. Pretty much, my biggest success in terms of recurring revenues would be with Crossover, where a very dedicated team, we took it from 0 revenue to 150 million in 2.5 years. That has to do with transforming cost structures, developing loyal customer relationships and whatnot. And so finally, I've been CTO a couple of times. I've been VP of Professional Services in a publicly listed Canadian telco provider. Now I'm VP of Business Development at Acolyte. I thought it would be prudent to also share a couple of my, belief system. For instance, I truly do believe empathy can get you much further. And empathy, because it's what Mante and Ned also discussed before. It has to do about people, right? I mean, the technology is there, the process is there, has to do with people. So empathetically, feeling how the other person is feeling, figuring out where the most congruent synergy is. All right, so so how do we start? I pretty much think that digital transformation is similar to what the HR departments of organization became in the last 20 years or so. It's like a journey. So it's not, it might be, splitted up in particular projects. So you have the first iteration, and you have the second iteration. You have some maybe KPIs, KRIs, OKRs, however you want to, slice and dice it and become data driven so you can measure it and manage it. But the thing is, I think it's more of a journey because it's a very volatile environment, a lot of people, a lot of different processes, a lot of different, different needs and changing needs. So this is what I've learned, my 2 cents here. Pretty much, defining success. Defining success, for instance, being agile. Does it mean being, efficient, effective? Taking care of eliminating manual processes, being able to onboard new people. Does it mean revenues? Does it mean, not having to go through mundane and difficult processes to hand over, take over? For instance, we've all been with pretty much, with banking clients or insurance clients or telco or media or energy clients. They've gone through their particular pain points, but you have to have the same sort of strategy towards a goal. So what is success? Let's define success. For instance, it might be going from COBOL to Java, or that means vertical scalability right there. Okay, so second point, identification of key pain points. Talking across the organization, key pain points. What makes the most sense? What are the major elements and how they can be, visualized? How can they be, data-driven, processed, if you will? Key decision makers, third point, absolutely. I'm not gonna stick on that because we all know what it means, but I love the fourth one. Key subject matter experts. There's always a few people within the organization that can provide you added value with what? With the history of how things got to where they are. So that pretty much gives you an understanding. It trickles back to the various choices and the various decisions of how things got to where they are. So yeah, I found that is very, very interesting and very, very useful, figuring out who the subject matter experts are. And by the way, there might not be in the entire organization, might be anywhere pretty much, within any sort of level, any sort of business unit even. Okay, current technology landscape. Absolutely, it does make sense. Third-party vendors, third-party providers, whatever it is. Sixth one is, while there is this sort of, engagement and journey for the transformation towards a more agile, efficient, effective, scalable, digital environment, okay, that's when, XYZ provider, it might be, Mondes Ionite or Acolyte or whomever can say, okay, now these are the added value points. In addition to working on, the pain points, the business or technical or process or whatever they are, pain points, now we have the added value points, where the consultancy part takes place. 7, of course, is the implementation. Project-wise, or it might be in consecutive manner. I worked with other companies that do see cloud and digital transformation as a journey, right? And then you have retrospectives, what we've learned, best practices, sharing across the organization, sharing across various other organizations, and iterations. I do feel that digital transformation is pretty much, iterations across and across, fixing the first major points, tackling those, what do we learn on that, and then moving on to the next batch, and then on to the next batch. Obviously, you have to find, organizations that do see value in that. We'll get to the value part in a little bit. Okay, let's look at an example. Just like all of us, I'm not able to discuss on which particular client this has happened, but it's a large telco client. So what happened? We started with the engagement with starting the existing technology landscape, right? This is like an actual example, an actual case study. And it turned out to be, with Acolyte Digital, a success story. But again, having in mind what is the definition of success and the data-driven definition of success, right? So, starting with the existing technology landscape, what was their backbones, what they had in terms of platforms, what was their existing and preconceived journey in terms of digital transformation, right? So they've absolutely had done a few steps towards that. So we have to absolutely charter that out, map that out, know and understand particularly, you know, what has transpired across the board in that organization up until that point. So deep diving on that as is architecture and roadmap to the particular, microservice-based architecture. We used to call it in the, while I was working a couple of years for a 105 million euro project for called Customs Development 3, we used to call it service-oriented architecture. So pretty much it was what the first major wave, if you think about it, and I think most of us know it, of digital transformation. So microservices, agile, standalone services, each one of those having a particular functionality, and all of those pretty much speaking to each other, exchanging data one way or the other. This absolutely means scalability. This absolutely means being able to tackle a project with changing business needs, because we've all been there where no project runs according to its course, and you have to be like agile enough, become like a strategic partner for your client. So moving away from the monolithic e-commerce platform to an open source based scalable solution was then the part of the implementation, what I mentioned as number 7 within my steps towards this particular journey. And finally, what happened is, the improved customer experience through these micro apps, and of course, having in mind, the omni-channel e-commerce experience. So having in mind that their clients would have the same sort of service. There would be business continuity across various platforms, whether it would be web, whether it would be like via phone, or whether it would be via a mobile app, and that there's other stuff as well, but those would be the major focal point. Now we have TV as well. All right, so what happened? What was success in this first iteration? I mean, with this particular client now within the third iteration, but the first one. So workflow management, 32% improvement, had to do with the elimination of manual processes, discussing with particular key decision makers and subject matter experts, right? Having launched 75 plus microservices per DevOps, if you will, every week there's our productivity loss was 16%, which we actually saved, right? And I have some other interesting added benefits. QA automation, with regression testing and whatnot. The omni-channel cart management, including new functionality, and finally, something which I really love and enjoy and think there's a great deal of value is analytics. Analytics in terms of visualization of data, insights, accurate forecasting, has to do with supply chain management. It trickles down to everything. Now, based on that, you can also have your AI model being trained on that particular data set and figuring out what would make sense in terms of even supply chain management, even in terms of marketing, even in terms of product promotion, personalization of product placement. So you have a ton of added value, but you have to fix the organization, fix the process, fix the technology landscape, get to the data, the correct data, and then to how you're going to be using that data, right? And again, iterations on that. Right. So challenges. I'll go through the challenges and then I'll share a couple of stories. Well, I have 1,000 of those, but that didn't go well, at least in the beginning, right? So if there's a incomplete or non-existent or deviated digital transformation strategy, they don't know where they want to go. That's why I have the very first, where is it? Yeah, define success, right? So, there we go. Right, digital transformation strategy. This strategy, who's involved, who will be taking care of the second point right here, the change management strategy. How are we going to change towards a more volatile environment, a more changing environment where you have, different geostrategies. For instance, now in the, eastern part of Europe, you have a major, changing environment, which pretty much, affects everyone. Going through COVID, and now you've got these new waves. You got to be prepared for anything that will come, because it's not, might come, it will come, right? Now, complex technology landscape. Obviously, that's for the solution architects to figure out. I was one back in the day as well. Understanding how all of these technology parts speak to each other, exchange information, interface with each other. How are you going to be, going through the physical models, your data models, through your logical models, all the good stuff that in the confined space of software engineering, we have. And then challenge number 4, no adoption of new tools. Some particular people, it's what Ned and Monte spoke on before, they don't want to adopt new tools. Or maybe it's difficult for some particular clients to adopt new tools because of pre-existing contracts or pre-existing investments in their in their existing tool set, if you will. Challenge number 5, which I think there's great value in that. That's a crisis which you can absolutely milk extremely well. Customer needs are changing. If you're a strategic partner to your client, then absolutely you can encapsulate it, incorporate it, hug that, so you can be part of the journey, get new proposals in, get new added value point there. Yeah, the points there. And challenge number 6, lack of proper IT skills or IT understanding, or understanding the benefit of digital transformation. Now, I think we've all been there, to having various various clients where sometimes they do initially kind of understand what it's all about, and then they move on forward and picking all the different problems or the hurdles or the obstacles. It's an emotional roller coaster, I think. But yeah, at the end of the day, it has to do with being agile in an extremely volatile, I should say, environment. So my lessons learned: teams win. You have to build teams. You have to have like your people inside your client's organization, which will be championing these sort of journeys, these sort of projects, and they do see the value, and they do see that there is monetary value, that there is value in terms of not being dinosauric and inelastic and inflexible, but rather the being agile, vertically scalable, and elastic and flexible. Yeah, buying from decision maker and subject matter experts. Great. We've gone through that. Be creative. I love that part. Add, remove talent, even in your client's organization, right? For instance, in the previous telco organization that we've discussed about, there was a proposal of including a few people that they would be needing for the long run, for the long haul. Improving, adding, changing processes, BPO, BPR, and obviously platforms. Be data-driven. That has to do with the data-driven part of success. For instance, if you have numerical data that this support department, any support agent, the mean time to respond to a particular ticket is, for instance, 60 minutes, and then you actually, with data proof, you bring that down to like 30 minutes, that is a measurable data-driven measure of success, right? Having in mind digital roadmaps are flexible, they are changing. Okay, so the elasticity, the flexibility part has to do with the roadmaps themselves. So time to market, I think that this is pretty much the major KPI or OKR that encapsulates everything, the time to market, because you've seen it and we've seen it across the board in a ton of organizations, that pretty much it has to do with them being able to reach a particular goal against their competitors. So pretty much you have to help your client reach their competitors timelines, or a product offering, because at the end of the day, it is a product offering. It has to do with revenues and whatnot. Keep on improving, because it's a learning process. Keep on learning. It's a learning process. Sharing best practice. I do believe that there's a great value in that, because digital transformation, there's not really a class for that, if you will. Pretty much it has to do, it's more of an art, meaning it's very, very new, very, very agile. Even if you take a class on it, by the time you finish that class, those sessions, some of those elements will be obsolete. So you always keep on learning. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Thank you, Tas. Thank you so much. We have a comment here. If you want to just reply to that comment from Mr. Olaf.
Okay, let me just check real quick.
It's just in the chat. And Marwan, you can upload your presentation. I'm making you presenter right now.
Sorry, where is the comment?
It's in the chat function. Last two, there's like two questions to that. So we can keep on. So we are on a schedule. If you can type the answer, please.
Sure, absolutely.
So Marwan can continue. Marwan, you are muted, and you should have a right to upload your presentation. It's coming up. Fantastic. You're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. If you can make it a little bit closer to the microphone, you are like far away.
Okay.
Or speak a little bit louder, please, if you can, without being arrested.
Is it better now?
Yes, we can see it.
Very good. Please let me know when we are ready. I will wait for
we are hearing you very, very weak. If you can just please try to make your microphone a little bit stronger. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Go ahead.
It's better. Okay. Can you still see my screen?
You exit out your screen. If you can put it back again, please.
Let's do it.
We don't see the screen anymore.
How about now?
It's coming up, yes. Go ahead.
Perfect. Is there any other question for us? Or shall I proceed?
Yeah, go ahead. Marwan. Olaf, do you hear him? No, he's frozen. Yeah, he's going out. Okay, let's see if he's going to be. I apologize to the audience. It's just the webinars. You know, it's the way it is. Sorry. Marwan, can you hear us? Okay. So, Lean, would you be able to upload your presentation now?
Yes, I can do that. But
let me see if Marwan can make it. Marwan, can you hear us? Marwan? Okay, then I will make you presenter, Lean, and please upload your presentation and go on.
okay, perfect. I will do this. Hopefully, you can see my screen at this moment.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, just a moment. I need to set up my space a bit. Okay. Well, my name is Leen van Toor. I'm a digital transformation consultant at Avenue Code, and I briefly want to share a bit of information about Avenue Code. I heard also that Marta is from San Francisco. Well, Avenue Code is also based in that environment. 15 years leadership in technology and consultancy experience. I will go very fast now because this is not the subject where we are talking about. We are in San Francisco. We are focusing on and pioneering since the early start of digital transformation in digital transformation. And we are a Fortune 100 trusted advisor. We value intimacy, agility, skills, lean, and results, and we are customer-centric. So that makes us unique, I think, amongst others. I know that also others are doing this. And yeah, we are a very diverse company with very diverse people, over 1,000 people, employees in the world. And we really make a kind of family. We have the values as you see here on the screen, and we really live up to that. So that's till now the commercial break, and now I continue with implementing digital transformation. What kind of problems do we see? What kind of good stories do we see? The question was indeed deliver 2 stories. Well, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I made 3 of it, and you will see that. Of course, I will not mention the specific clients. I want to discuss just the global line of an implementation of digital transformation. And you know Kotter, the 8 steps of Kotter. Starts with create sense of urgency, build large, powerful coalition, and well, it's known to you. Based on that, within Avenue Code and together with our clients, we also have a kind of sequence where we walk through to implement digital, to get really digital in your environment. You need to know that the implementation, the steps are quite easy, but actually doing it is complex because, and Anastasius also mentioned that it's a complex environment, and you need to deal with the uniqueness of every company if you want to transform them to a good digital strategy. So a typical approach for digital transformation implementation is presented here. First, and I look from a consultancy point of view, I expect and assume that every company, large company who actually wants to transform, really want to be agile, having state-of-the-art business processes in place, and you want to make the use of the top technology. That is where digital transformation is about. You first need to have a partnership as a consultancy company with the client. But if you look from the client perspective, you need the help of consultancy partners. Why do you need that? Because you are so focused in your area, in your business area, in your technology area, in your process area, that you cannot see the chances you have in an easy way. You're too much focused. You need consultancy partners to work with. So you need to have a partnership with one or two external consultancy partners who have experience, significant experience in guiding this kind of transformation. Avenue Code is one of them, but there are many more. Forming the second step is, if you have that agreement, you come to a partnership, a lot of things happen prior to that, of course, because the board will not make this signature just like that on the blue eyes or the brown eyes. No, you really need to inform them, guide them to actually make that signature in the contract. And that is also the buy-in you have of the board, and which is needed for the successful digital transformation. One of the first things, if you agree with the board to go ahead, you need to form a digital transformation inspiration team. And why is it called inspiration team? Because normally it's called many times change team, agile change team, digital transformation change team. Well, then the change team is doing it. And that's not the case. The organization themselves, the people themselves need to do the digital transformation, and you are inspiring them. And that's the approach we take for that. Then think big, spread the word. What do you want? And you do that with your inspiration team, but also with others from the board. You make a plan, and you mature that plan along the way. Because in the first place, it's a rough vision, a rough roadmap, a rough plan. And then you start. And of course, you want to start as soon as possible after you made a rough plan. You start with a small project, and you make success, and you celebrate the success. We also heard just before that you need to define success. Of course, you need to define the success and actually create success with a project, a small digital project. And then after that, expand the success, embed it in your organization, but most of all, expand it, because there's a lot of, as you call it, the fear of missing out in the organization. Because if you have your pilot project done, A lot of people are seeing this, and you communicate about this success, and everybody wants to be a part of it. So try to make use of that and actually have the capability to expand. If you do not have the coaches to guide that expansion, that's also not good. You need to guide that expansion. So that are the steps. And I like to tell you a few stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I know that we like most the bad and ugly. So I will spend some time on that. To finish the implementation, of course, there are some looks back to the other steps, and the plan you have, think big, will change along the way, and make that visible for the rest of the organization and go ahead. So that's the approach we take. Of course, we learn most from our mistakes. Experiment is the remedy, and make mistakes. No problem, but learn from your mistakes. I think that's the most important message also there. Okay, let's go to the good. And as you saw already, we wanted to do this good story prior to the first things we are doing. So prior to the actual work. So the big plan. We have already awareness for the need for change because we have the contract with the board. We have the opportunity to guide C-level management. In the contract also stated, because they need to think of new business processes, new business structures, and that's quite important part of the digital transformation. Form this inspiration team, we already did, and we make a plan and communicated it. That is the idea. Of course, digital transformation is from business perspective very important. We do have examples when it went wrong, like we know the traditional ones, Kodak, Nokia, etc. And we know the successes there of Uber and others. It's very important to think of new business structures. Also, you need to focus on organization capabilities. The processes in your organization need to be optimized, and you need to have an agile organization to enable the digital transformation. And you need to be aware of the latest technique and technical possibilities. That is the core of the work you need to do as a consultancy partner. You need to focus on the business concepts, the propositions they made for their business. You need to look at your agile organization. So you need to do an agile transformation, and you have the need of the latest technologies to make use of the capabilities of that in your new structure. So the big plan, where is it about? And that's the good. It's so important to have this big plan prior your first start with the actual transformation, with the actual pilot project. You need to have this vision. You need to have clear the motivation why you want to change. Why do you want to move ahead with this transformation? You need to have a clear vision on what does it mean for HR and for our people in the organization. What does it mean for our financial housekeeping in the organization? Our internal budgeting it will completely change if we do this agile transformation, as you saw it before. The agile framework we need to implement and have a plan. Is that safe? Is that less? Do we use Spotify? That kind of things. Talk about it and make a decision. Proposition approach. How do we deal with new business ideas and structures. How do we work that out and come to a workable plan? Innovation approach. We want to innovate constantly. We want to stay state of the art and beyond. And you need to have a plan for that too. Communication for our project, for the transformation project, is important because you are in the spotlight. And if you are not publishing any information about your digital transformation project, then everybody will say, okay, I don't know what happens, not important. We don't hear anything. It's very important to do a lot of marketing and communication from your digital transformation project. And a roadmap. You need to have this roadmap, the plan available, and communicate that. So this is the good thing. And you will end up with, if you have this plan and you communicate about it, you will end up with a lot of supporters in the organization. Everybody gets enthusiastic and want to be a part of it. Most important and often skipped is the implementation, is this HR and finance approach. It will hit you back later in the process. I saw it a few times. Don't miss out. Include them right from the start. So involve HR and finance right from the start. Oh, sorry, I was too fast. Right from the start, that is important. If you don't do that, as I said, it will hit you back. But why will it hit you back? Because people get insecure if there is no HR plan. If a new Scrum Master role or an RTE role, or in SAFe terminology, or if it's not supported, you are not happy as an employee, and you need to have happy employees to make it a success.
Aline,
So
I'm sorry to interrupt. If you can wrap up in the next 2 minutes so we can have Mauran to also present. Otherwise, we will run out of time. Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's the most in 2 minutes. Then for the most interesting part, I will go very fast. It's in the start small, doing things. Actually, if you start doing things, you actually want to start doing this pilot project and celebrate success if that is not happening. And why is that not happening? If you select a wrong project, it's not a project that is really interesting for your audience, for your organization, then it's not motivating, and you need to select the right project. So that's and not the next project which is in line to be handled. Select the right project. And involve the teams in selecting the project. That will help also to have the buy-in. So that are a few. And the ugly, that is when things can really go wrong in the digital transformation. And it's nearly happened in one of the situations I was involved in. And luckily we could help the things out. But what happens if you have a successful pilot project implemented and you want to expand? And at a certain moment, at the same time, there are some budget cuts from the same board. And they say, the management will say, okay, then skip this transformation project. It's a lot of consultants, skip them out, and it saves a lot of money. So then the whole project is at risk. And you go back to your own old way of working, and everything is for nothing. So really, the advice is here, keep in constant contact with the sponsors in the boardroom, and of course you're guiding them also for the business perspective. Do that really firm and intensive. Work with proper stakeholder management. Be sensitive for signals in the organization. And handle and react fast to them, and have a separate, that's maybe a low-hanging fruit, then have a separate budget for the transformation that is not in the hands of the regular management. So that are my advices and takeaways. So I hope you can work with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a wonderful presentation. There's a question for you from Alex. If you can, and Claude, if you can please answer that. Mauran, you can put your presentation on now, and you can unmute yourself, please. We cannot hear you yet. We see your presentation, but you are mute. And if you can just still cannot hear you, sorry. Can you say something?
Hello, hello. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes. You're good.
Fortunately, now
Yeah.
excellent. Okay, multimedia. Can you hear the sound? Can you see the screen?
Yeah. It's coming up.
Okay, wait for your patience. Perfect. So we'll be starting with implementing digital transformation, success stories, and failure stories. In fact, you will see some kind of overlap maybe with my colleagues, but I did this presentation a little bit in steroids. So it's not one case, it's many cases. So please prepare yourself to run, because we will see many cases here. Okay, so my background is digital transformation, different companies, from client to implementer. Currently, I am with Cognizant Technology, and we are about 300,000 technologists across the globe, behind a lot of implementation across the globe of those systems. We cover aviation, healthcare, public sector, education, telecom, retail, defense, intelligence, and energy. I am part of the leadership team in Middle East. I've been before in Canada, mainly delivering in healthcare. And by moving from one sector to the other, there is a lot of knowledge that is building up and helping to create synergies between domains. Especially in digital transformation, it's quite contagious. When you have an experience in one sector and you move to a different sector, you have this kind of expectation as a customer. So the provider of that domain has a very high motivation to be inspired by good experience even in other sectors. So we'll be covering digital transformation components, success factors, success stories, and failure stories. The easiest framework of digital transformation I can think about is this one. Digital transformation is 3 layers. Digital business, you modify or rethink your business, including the revenue generation, the business model itself. The digital operation, this is how you execute your process and activities and deliver value. And the digital technology, what kind of enablers are you using in order to achieve both previous objectives? Whatever initiative that is done in digital transformation will most likely touch one or more of these 3 dimensions. Now, in order to be a little bit more specific, these are some examples of what we name digital transformation initiatives. We can have cloud migration, cloud transformation, smart city implementation, predictive maintenance, data analytics systems, proactive government services, skills assessment for competency modernization, mobility systems, geolocation, digital engineering by building capability in agile, safe, microservice, API first. This is the way how we build technology. And we have process modernization, smart manufacturing, smart warehousing, smart sanitization, COVID contamination prevention. These are some use cases of robotics implementation. Omni-channel experience for both the employee experience as well as the customer experience. Blockchain for government services and cybersecurity. These are some of the key examples that we can think about when we talk about digital transformation. The word is a little bit becoming blurry with many usage in different contexts, but all what you can see under this layer is under the umbrella of digital transformation. Now, in order to be a little bit more specific in our approach, I am sharing with you here a framework that has been created by McKinsey, and it is highlighting what are the main dimensions that may impact success. First dimension is the sources of value. When you reimagine the process, you get closer to customer, you build intelligent products, and you assume more risk as appropriate. Then we go to a level beneath, which is the delivery angle, agile at scale, data science, and customer experience. Now, from a modern capability perspective, data backbone, software as a service or cloud, security, and Internet of Things. Beneath it, there is the corporate capabilities, which are talent and partnership, financial processes, governance, and organizational health. Now we'll go a little bit more specific in terms of use cases. And we will see specific cases and how they match with this framework. We'll take one initiative that was successful for Apple, which was an initiative of system improvement. Apple, in its initiative of CarPlay, they had an objective to increase the customer service. So they partnered with original equipment manufacturers and application providers, such as Spotify, to integrate iPhone into vehicles for infotainment, information entertainment system. They achieved 37 million sales as an estimation in 2020. This initiative is a direct success of an implementation of digital transformation. It is mainly leveraging the customer experience by getting closer to the need of the customer and using partnership. This is the first case of success that we can cover today. Next one, Lego. Lego, from an innovation perspective, they created a new initiative of entertainment. So they focused on new revenue sources coming from movies. Some of your family members are familiar, if not you, about the movie of Lego. Mobile games and mobile applications by leveraging digital transformation and digital technologies. The first movie has achieved 468 million for a cost of production of 60 million. Quite impressive in terms of revenue generation. So in our framework, we can see here a new revenue generation by getting closer to the need of the customer, reimagining processes. It's no more selling a toy, taking risk by getting to a complete different industry, and improving the customer experience.
Auran, I'm sorry, as we are running out of time, if you can wrap up in the next 2-3 minutes, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
we have 6 minutes left, and we also have to present some certificates. So please,
Okay.
2 minutes will be fine. Thank you.
Very good. I will run quickly to failure and we close. So I will share with you the document for the colleagues who want to see it. This is a case of sales operation failure, which is a bad implementation of an SAP ERP, which has not planned the full process of the organization, causing 100 million orders that has been blocked, causing operational disruption for Hershey's. Hershey's is a chocolate provider company. And this is a case of an organization that has created a new business line, which is an IoT platform for a complete digital business for General Electric Digital. This business line didn't get enough traction internally on the organization and has caused a continuous drop in the stock price of GE and pushed the CEO out of the organization. And these are the main three reasons why it didn't work well: partnership, governance, and organizational health. These are the main failures: unclear objective and outcome, unrealistic implementation time frame, and no commitment from key stakeholders in business unit, unclear requirement and business needs, lack of change management, and inefficient collaboration model. There is a lack of internal capability, skills gap, a blurry roadmap, contracting the wrong system integrator, transformation driven only by IT department, a limited adoption, and inadequate technology platforms. And these are the lessons learned. I will share with you the document. I will stick with this number of slides for today. And I thank you all for attending, and sorry for the technical issue that happened. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marwan. Thank you so much. Looking at the time, I believe this is all we have for the time being today. I want to express my appreciation by saying thank you. Thank you, Tas. Thank you, Mante, Mauran, Lean, for your participation, great insight. And of course, thank our audience for today's great session. Thank you for dedicating your time. At this stage, I would like to hand over to EU Tech Benedict Grutz, Vice President of Senate, and who would like to take a chance to hand over a little thank you over to our panelists. Benedict, the microphone is yours.
Yes, thank you very much for being here, dear Ned. Benedict Grutz, I'm Vice President of the European Senate of Economy and Technology, and as always, we have a little gift for you, for our panelists. As you can imagine, climate protection is not only one of the biggest goals of the United Nations, but also of our organization of EU Tech and the European Senate, which is based in Brussels, by the way. And I would like to thank you on behalf of EU Tech and European Senate for your contribution. We really appreciate this panel and your participation on this. Thank you very much. So here we are. Here are 3 certificates for each of you. Here with the European Technology Chamber confirms that a 3 for Anastasios, a 3 for Mante, a 3 for Lean, and a 3 for Marwan. You're heartily welcome. Thank you very much again that you were with us. And I think there were a lot of good points to discuss about further. And well, that was already my short part, our little gift for you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, have a great time. Thank you for the audience, to the audience as well. Thank you very much for being our guest today. And I think for the honor of the last words, back to you, Ned. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much. Again, thank you, panelists. Such a great discussion. I think we could talk about this for hours and still not be boring to our audience. Thank you so much. And in the name of Technology Chamber, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us today, sharing your knowledge. And we look forward to seeing you on the next our digital event in July. And remember, technology obliges. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye, and see you again on our next digital event. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.